The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You are watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have half of the usual suspects in the building. First, he is the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
L'chaim. Oh, I can't say that now. That's terrible now. Too political.
Like, it's like, oh, okay, got you. I was about to say, like, I didn't know if you were like, you're saying you get accused of being anti-Semitic, or if you're just, I don't know.
I'm pro-Israel if I say that, but I would do the Palestinian salute to drinking, except that they don't let you drink.
That does seem like it'd be a problem.
Yes, I don't even know if they have a cheers salute or anything. Every country with basic freedoms does, but
Okay, see, there it is. Like you're dancing on the minefield. Here it is. My name's Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to the Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today. Oh well, I should also say, shout out to Jay and Oz. They weren't able to make it today. Maybe we might get Oz.
Each other.
That's what happens. That's what happens. It's like, hey, who are we to question who you love, right?
They read bodies and said, let's get it.
Let's get it. So, with that said, yeah, we got a great show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about Bodies, both the Netflix show and the original Vertigo comic that the show is inspired by. So, we'll be bringing you thoughts and reviews on both of those, as well as a review of Mad Cave's The Devil That Wears My Face, that comic book. So we got all that, and of course, whatever else it is that you all want to be talking about as well. So we'll tell you how it is you get down with Fantastic Forum in just a little bit. Before we do that, though, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, the show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. We do appreciate you, good sir. Yeah, Mo, how are you feeling, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing okay, man. This weird, I don't know, this weird flat Earth weather, man. It's like it's not cooling down, or it's cooling down at night, but it's hot in the day, and the sun isn't setting, or it's not rising when it's. I'm like, it's harder to get up in the morning because it's still dark, and it's like, by now we should have rolled the time back. But I guess because it is a flat Earth, it's arbitrary, and they can just change it whenever they feel like it.
Moses, what are you talking about? Like, what is flat Earth weather?
I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird.
Okay, got it.
I don't know. It's just, my allergies have been fucking with me, like the sinus. And it's all because it's like colder when I think it is. When I think, it's hot when I go to bed. It's cold when I wake up, and I sleep with no blanket or anything.
And you don't sleep with a blanket?
I put maybe one on my feet, but that's about it. I don't like having you know how you have to swaddle the babies when they're little, so they can feel like the wound. I hated that when I was a little kid. I wanted to be like free, naked. And that's how I am when I sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
So does that mean that Mrs. Magnum gets all the covers to herself?
Pretty much, yeah. She has, she does leave some for me in case I do get cold, because every now and then I do get a little breeze, and I got to cover it. So now I'm trying to teach myself to cover myself so that my nose doesn't clog up. So because it gets cold when it started out hot. So yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Mo, like, have you been seeing an uptick in reports of Marvel thinking about or having to replace Jonathan Majors because of like all the legal stuff? Have you been seeing that?
No, I have not.
Okay.
If anything, I've seen more memes and everything about how cool it's that he's still here. Yeah. Like
Yeah, it's
the show's showing, it's the only new show right now, and I'm waiting for fucking Abbott Elementary, but nothing's coming because of the strike, and it's like this is the only new show we have right now, and I still haven't seen it. I'm only on one episode because it's
have you only watched one episode of Loki?
Yeah, because I want to binge it. Like I don't have this shit, but I think the thing is, there's nothing else to watch other than Simpsons reruns, so I might as well just start watching it when it comes out.
That's fair. That's fair, man. Like
the Halloween season, we were just watching pretty much horror movies all the time. So
right, yeah, man. The last episode of Loki was no joke.
Yeah,
like
you don't have to piss me off. I know that's subconscious. That's a little passive aggressive, but you're all like, yeah, the last.
I wasn't trying. Like I was honestly just thinking. I don't know. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean for you to take it any particular way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the ending of that joint was actually. I was like, wow, like this is cool. Like I like this show. Not that I didn't like it before, but
and the thing is,
a newfound respect.
Why do you ask about the update? Because it's my light fell. But go ahead.
I asked because I keep seeing reports of it, and I'm wondering, like, is my especially in this day and age, like news and all that kind of stuff that you see can be so personalized. So I know that I might be seeing an uptick in stories like that, but they like all the stories that are like that have been written might be coming my way because of a particular algorithm or something, right?
Well, AI knows you're black. I hate to think that way, but
that could be it.
But there's another issue too, because I recently delved into the AI, and they're like, "Oh, look at what you look like." The AI will tell you what you're gonna look like at 77. And I'm like, "Oh, I want to see that." Like AI is smart, I fear AI. I fear that it's gonna come after us. I think it believes that it already believes that we we don't deserve the humanity we have, and it costs too much to feed us and heal us. It's easier to just eradicate us. But I no longer fear it.
How AI feels. You shouldn't.
I'm gonna show you right now because the AI. I think Oz is here if you want to. Let's see.
Hello,
this picture's loading up, taking too long to load, man. But yeah.
How are you, friend?
He already finished with Jay.
Wasn't there like a filter, like a MySpace filter that made you look old like 10 years ago?
There was, but that is not the same thing.
No, this is AI rendering of me at 77. Let's see. In the
you know what they say, Magnum don't crack.
see yourself at 77 now, thanks to AI. And AI, based on my profile picture, thinks I'm a young black man.
That's hilarious.
So it's like, I think we're safe from AI now. So I think the algorithm telling you that Jonathan Majors is probably being replaced is probably not working as well, or no, it's worked towards
Yeah, yeah. It's a weird thing because I know for me, like I feel like the first story I saw like that was like I don't know, like something like Bounding in the Comics or something like that. Like some
Oh yeah,
place where it was just like, yeah, where I'm like, oh, I can just ignore that.
yeah.
But then I feel like I saw like a variety story like that, and then I saw like a Hollywood Reporter story like that, and I'm just like I thought Jonathan Majors like
But did you
had
read this? Did you click on and read the stories?
I
Because
did read the more
a
uh
lot of them, like Bounty in the Comics, or we got the, or, all these dumb
yeah,
sites. They'll put the story, and then Variety will reference that site as the source of the story.
right, right. But then that's the thing where I'm just like, is that what they're doing? Because it's like they don't know that those sites are more like clickbaity.
Yeah,
Well, either
that's
way,
what
like
happened.
Variety. I mean, if they're gonna do that, Variety should just listen to the show. I can explain to them that it's all AI and it's all AI don't know shit.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm pretty sure like Variety and like those other places like reported on on the fact that the person that was accusing Jonathan Majors of all this stuff basically kind of like recanted and like fled the
Yeah.
country, right?
Yeah, but
Well,
he's still
here's what
going to
I'm telling,
trial.
and
Yeah, but
they're
with
wasting
the
taxpayers'
main person, the main accuser is like, nah, like change your whole story, right?
There's got to be something if it's going to trial, whether the trial is a waste of time or not. Just the fact that it's going to go to trial, even if he really didn't do anything, that's a lot of time that he can't be on set because he's got to be there for the trials. Don't just go for like a couple of days. It's going to be a
Yeah, no, I
few months
understand
that,
that.
that they're going to lose shooting time, and there's
but
the
I
public
don't even think
perception that just because he's on trial for it, well, then he must have done it.
but
Mm.
all there's that, but also, I mean, look, you got Burr in chat says what was that 77 pick? Burr, that was AI prediction of what I would look like at 77.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Happy birthday, by the way, Burr.
Oh, is it Burr's birthday?
Yeah, it's
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Burr! Happy birthday!
Doesn't he get like 7 of those a year?
Yeah, probably.
Burr has more than one birthday. That's cool.
I forget. Is he cat or dog?
He's a cat with blue hair.
uh, but yeah. So okay. Yeah, I was just like shocked by like when I saw it the first time, I was just like, whatever. When I saw it again, I was just like, huh, that's wild. And they're talking about how like the stories are talking about how Marvel has been trying to like are in talks about potentially replacing uh Kang as like the big bad for the next set of Avengers movies and fast tracking Doctor Doom, which I know for me, I was like, like in my mind, I was like, I thought that was going to be the plan. Like, not so much like replace Kang, but Kang is kind of like, I think we even talked about it on the show where I'm like,
Yeah. He's
Kang,
he's like
Kang
is
being like the
herring.
initial threat,
Yeah.
huh?
He's almost like the red herring type that leads
Right,
to God Doom.
right. God Emperor
Well,
Doom, right? Like, if you're going to do Secret Wars, like,
also,
that's the way to do it.
Jonathan Majors is like the easiest character to replace because you could just say he's a variant. This guy looks like Jonathan Majors, you know.
Yeah, but I
I
do
don't think that's
believe
true.
no, the character of Kang is one they can
Uh-oh.
replace. But the actor, I think they banked on his performance to be able to do these different variants as himself. So I
Mhm.
like Disney wouldn't have paid the accuser that much money to go away if
Wait a minute, Mel. Now you're doing conspiracy theory. Wait
hey,
a minute.
hey,
Wait a minute.
I'm as credible as Bounding into Comics. Why can't Variety write about us? You know, you know why they can't? Because Larry, you're here naysaying. Wait a minute, with your Disney ass.
Listen, don't be mad at me for liking facts, okay?
Yeah, but yeah, it's like, people don't like facts. Facts hurt. That's why they like
Yeah,
bullshit. They love bullshit.
I hear that.
You
I
got
hear
you
that.
always bet against people, Larry. Always bet against people.
See, and that's the thing where, like, I hear what you're saying, Oz, and it makes sense on a surface level where you're saying, like, hey, Kang is a being that's bouncing around through time, has a whole bunch of different variants. Some of them can look different, and you're not wrong in that respect. But I think what Mo says
Spoilers.
is true, huh?
Derek in the chat has spoilers for me. I haven't been watching.
There it is. The way, like, I think that the performance is kind of the key. It's not like, oh, we just need a Kang. It's like Jonathan Majors Kang is, I think, a big part of the draw. I mean, but with the same thought, it's like, I mean, you could say that about anybody, right? Like you could replace anybody with a variant. Like, I mean, Loki. How many different people have played Loki in last season of the show, right? Like there was like 4 or 5 different actors.
There are
including the
conversations
alligator.
about bringing back. There are conversations about bringing back a lot of the original Avengers as variants, and kind of rebooting.
Yeah, absolutely, which should happen.
Yeah, as long as they're willing to pay.
Off reboot of Marvel.
Yeah, listen, I personally wouldn't have any issue with it, just because the story that they're telling lends itself to that happening. So if you want like a Steve Rogers Captain America, I was like, I'm out. No, if you want a Steve Rogers Captain America, if you want friggin' Tony Stark Iron Man or whatnot, it's like, yeah, like you can get another version of those characters to put into the next iteration of the MCU. If that's what you want to do, now would be the time.
Multiverse of Madness was all the variants. It's like, yeah, we can give you this that you want, even though we don't know if we can do it in the long run, but we could give it to you here,
Right.
And it's
exactly.
It's fun. If they do give it to you in the long run, it's not the same one. It's still a variant,
Right. But yeah, man, and also too, like, just for me, and I guess again, this is like me reading too many comics, I guess, is the idea of a Doom supplanting Kang in what Kang believes is his moment of triumph. It's like, that's classic Doom Kang kind of dynamic, where it's like Kang thought he won, and then Doom pulled a fast one, and now this will
automatically gives you a better Doom or a more true to comic Doom than the other movies. Like that's
100%.
If you never get anything else after that, like I die happy. Let the bus hit.
Right. Absolute, man. It's like, I'm just saying, like, it's so crazy because I keep like there's that moment in Secret Wars where you do have like God Emperor Doom and Thanos facing off, and I don't know if you remember, but he like literally like I think he pulls his like spine out, like he basically does like a fatality on Thanos, and it's crazy because it's a moment, you know what I'm saying? It's literally like, I think it was like a handful of villains that were able to like get into one of the life rafts when the universe like dissipated, and so they made it to Battle World, to God Emperor Doom's reality that he was able to piece together, you know what I'm saying? And so you had like Thanos that actually is like, no man, listen, I know what the universe is supposed to be like, and it's not this, and you're playing like you're a god, but I'm Thanos, like I've actually been a god, and he was like trying to test Doom, and Doom messed around and friggin' nixed him. I feel like that might have been like even like issue 1 or 2 of Secret Wars, which was like, oh, it's at stage, man. It was good stuff. What's Derek H talking about?
He says, Marvel said, "Screw you to the fanboys by fan casting everyone in Doctor Strange and then killing them all." And I don't believe that. Like it's like you can use them, and then you don't have to lock them into a contract. You give the people what they want, and then if you can get them into a contract, then good. We'll bring them back again, variants. But you at least got it,
I mean, listen, realistically speaking, it's one like, especially with the way things are going these days, it's like putting Patrick Stewart in that role inside of an MCU movie, like, was so cool and perfect. And it's like by the time we get to a point where Patrick Stewart can actually play Professor X in an MCU movie, for all we know, Patrick Stewart might not be around anymore. You know what I mean?
So
So
we
it's
live.
like,
Well, they
I,
got Harrison Ford.
huh?
They got Harrison Ford, so obviously they don't care about the future.
Oh, for the future for Thunderbolt Ross.
Wait, wait, look, I mean, are you out here just being like Harrison Ford's dead already? Is that what you're saying?
Isn't he like 80 something?
Yeah, they both are.
He's 81 years
I mean-
old. So he's about the same age as Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I feel like okay, that's fair.
but either
That's
way,
fair. I think
thing it's just they put him as Thunderbolt Ross. It doesn't like it's indicative that they're not going to do anything long term with him.
Yeah, they're not gonna make it to Red Hulk.
Yeah,
I don't think that's true. I think that they very well could make him into Red Hulk.
just give me Doc Samson and I'll be fine.
They could make him into Red Hulk, and he'd totally be like one of those things where he doesn't ever turn back into Ross. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then
Like,
he'll be
that kind of deal.
Red Hulk and She-Hulk season 2.
But also, too, I think the big difference between that is, no one's looking for Harrison Ford to play Thunderbolt Ross. It's just a good choice or a good enough choice. Like, people wanted to see Patrick Stewart as Professor X in the MCU because he had been playing that role in the past. So I think that's the big difference. And it's like, if he had, God forbid, like, I don't want anything to happen to Patrick Stewart because he's amazing. But God forbid something does happen and he never got that opportunity, people would think about that like a shame that it never happened, So now it's like, okay, well, at least it did happen. So, hopefully it can happen some more, but we'll see. Harrison Ford is like the Biden of acting. I don't know if that's true. I feel like that might have been like Bruce Willis, right?
Larry, frankly, I don't give a damn. Wait, that's a different movie. That's him now. Yeah,
that's Harrison Ford now.
Yeah,
I didn't see the last Indiana Jones movie, so maybe I might need to reserve judgment until I watch that joint.
Yeah, he fucked himself up by getting in that plane and crashing. Like that aged him. And it's like, if you're an actor, I mean, you got the looks, you got the talent, you're still in play because people still want to pay you to be in movies. Why the fuck are you trying to fly a fucking washing machine? He was flying vintage planes. That's his hobby. That's white people shit. You got too much money and too much fucking time.
Hey, I mean,
and then he shortened his fucking time with that shit because it could have ended right there.
Yeah, it's true.
That.
Earlier, Tarkle had mentioned. Okay, never mind then.
Sorry. First says it was good in 1923, and that's because everybody in the Yellowstone universe talks like this, like Frank Leary. We gotta protect our land. Yeah, and that in the Yellowstone universe, that's everybody. Yeah, so he's perfect for 1923.
I haven't seen it. Is that good?
Yellowstone? Yellowstone's great, except the last season. Last season sucked, but it's but the first four seasons of Yellowstone's fucking tight.
Yep, Yellowstone's a joint with whatchamacallit, right?
Yeah, with Kurt Russell talking like this, like we need to save our land. And then 1923 is the prequel, which is I think his grandpa saying we need to save our land.
Oh, okay. Then, that's not the show I was thinking about.
1883 is the country singer that's married to the other country singer saying we gotta go get our land. It's not Kurt Russell. It's damn it, the Field of Dreams guy.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yellowstone. Okay, that is the right show.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yellowstone.
yeah. Oh
Kevin
man, I
Costner.
feel.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
Kevin Costner. Okay,
But they're
cool.
all
Yeah,
just white dudes. Old white dudes saying, "We gotta protect our land."
I actually saw. I think maybe the first season of Yellowstone, and it was a good show.
Mm.
It's one of those shows where I enjoyed what I was watching. At the same time, I didn't necessarily feel like, oh, okay, I got to make sure I keep up with this because I was just like, oh, it's cool. Like I'm not a big like. Well, I mean, it's in what Montana
Y-
or
y-
Wyoming?
no, I
One of
think
those.
North
Same
Dakota,
thing.
No,
Yellowstone.
North Dakota. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
Montana.
I'm
Montana.
I'm I'm being really West Coast right now. Like
Yeah,
which one of those square states is it?
yeah.
Like,
Tim McGraw was in 1883. There's a really good scene in 1883 where they try to rape his daughter and he fucking kills the dude. So cool.
oh, jeez. Okay. I was gonna say earlier,
Maybe buy
Tiger
a
Claw had,
cowboy.
huh?
Made me want to buy a cowboy hat,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
couldn't.
I've never
I couldn't
felt
fit
that.
it over. I couldn't fit it over my Mandalorian helmet.
The TV show almost got you to buy a cowboy hat. Your Mexicanness should have you buying a cowboy hat.
I know I had a cowboy hat before, but
Okay,
that's
you're
not
forgiven.
the thing. Yeah.
Isn't there only like but it's not every like it's particular parts of Mexico where you get cowboy hats, right? Or is it the whole country?
South of San Diego.
Only the parts of Mexico that are south of San Diego. Got it.
Yeah, but north of the Yucatan.
Got it. Tiger Claw was asking if any of us had seen Five Nights at Freddy's.
Well, that was
Jay's
your
not here.
assignment.
Huh?
Yeah.
That was your assignment.
They
Listen.
ruined it. This is the one time where I hate that they're doing the stream on demand and theater at the same time.
Oh, you can watch it on demand?
Oh, you did? Ah, fuck.
What?
Cause I'm like, I was like, I gotta drag Larry to the theater, but then it's like, no, I can make him watch it at on TV.
Well, you know he didn't watch it because you weren't filming it.
I know, but that's the thing. It's like if we go to the theater, I would film it, and I would have to drag him, and his excuse would have been like, it's at home, we could all watch it. So we're gonna review it next week.
Lawrence is going to review it next week.
I think we should just let Jay do it because Jay.
You watched Willy's Wonderland, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Is like because we reviewed Willy's Wonderland. Link up here somewhere, and you can watch our review for Willy's Wonderland, which is essentially Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think it might be even better. I think it's better. I haven't watched Five Nights at Freddy's yet, but
look, Willy's Wonderland is automatically better because Nick Cage.
Yeah, but it's the way they did it. Like the story is like it's a little more macabre. Whereas this one, I think it's. I mean, they sanitize it because the demographic it's for younger kids, And I think that leads us to kind of like our review of Bodies coming up because I feel like that they could do certain things in comics that they can't do on TV or don't refuse to do, or at least they refuse to do for the TV version. I don't know. I seen Sense8. They could do anything on Netflix. Like
it's true, right?
Buy Pornhub and have one streaming service that dominates everything. I don't know why they don't do it, but yeah, it's Sense8. It's like, dude, like this dude's getting mind fucked, soul fucked, ass fucked, and mouth fucked.
So true. So true. That show was great. I love Sense8.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's but it's teaching our kids all this weird shit.
You are dumb. You are dumb. Why are you letting your kids watch Sense8?
I don't know. That's the Republicans let their kids watch it.
Derek 8 says, wait, no, that's not what I was trying to say. Derek 8 says, is Nick Cage in it? I think we're talking about what is it called? What?
No, he was talking about he was joking about Five Nights at Freddy. Like if that's how.
I didn't know he was joking. I just want to make sure that he didn't think we were saying Nick Cage is in Five Nights at Freddy's. He's in what's the other one? Willy's World?
Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. That's where you can find Nick Cage. You should watch that and then do like compare and contrast with
next week we'll do this is the pre-production meeting we didn't do earlier because we were late. But so next week whatever's on the docket and Five Nights at Freddy's. And then Larry, extra credit for you is watch The Hug on Hulu.
The Hug?
Yeah, because it's a movie in the same genre.
Well, that sounds so nice. It's The Hug. I mean,
no, listen.
It's nicer than A Hug.
I already know if there's a movie called The Hug.
I was looking at the poster for The Hug and bring it up for Larry.
It's either demon stuff or sex stuff or both. I already know. I'm like, no,
it's not. It's the same genre, like being locked into a little like animatronic play place.
Yeah, no, thanks. No, thank you.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to put up the poster or just like the first random image that showed up.
The Hug movie.
I'm like,
I mean, it's the same.
Put it up. Put the first picture that came up when you searched it, because it's only like a 5-minute movie, Larry. So, in fact, you know what? That's your next video. I'm gonna make you watch The Hug.
Mm-mm.
You know, I'll let you
October's over.
Yeah, but we still got November, which is like Day of the Dead, like technically.
That's today.
Yeah, we gotta honor my dad. Like, you gotta watch this to honor my dad. I'm trying
to give thanks.
Yeah, thank him by watching The Hug.
Mm-mm. Thank you, Dad. Listen,
that's messed up, man. You don't know how.
You think you're dad?
What?
Except for what? Except for what?
For abandoning me and giving me this weird sense of humor? Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dan. I wanted to put googly eyes on his urn and I didn't do it. I was going to have him be part of the show. That's the animatronic. Like that's the thing you're locked in with in The Hug.
No. I'm not in with that.
Here, I'll put
the hedgehog. You like hedgehogs? You like Sonic?
Why is it? It looks like
it looks like a panda.
Like a crack panda. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looks like a crack panda to me.
And just because you asked for it, here's the poster. Which actually, the poster looks a lot nicer.
The poster does look nicer, but that thing is still creepy. Like, I'm like, no, that thing has ulterior motives. Once you see The Hug, you're gonna need one.
Like that's what those characters that show up to birthday parties. That's what they look like when we were kids.
Yeah.
And that's like off-brand.
Again, that's why, like, if you're gonna review Five Nights at Freddy's, like, you have to have seen The Hug or and Willy's Wonderland. Like, that's my philosophy. Like, you can't really review the Five Nights at Freddy's because they came before, and I'm sure there's other stuff that came before, but for me, like, those two were really good at that genre. But I'm not. If Jay was here, he probably seen more of them.
Yeah,
in that genre, which I haven't. So
this is a subgenre for real now.
Yeah. The little like abandoned kid, like Disney park thing with Kiss versus the park, the ghost in the park. And there was like Kiss locked into a theme park that they were supposed to play in, and they had to fight a ghost. It's a terrible movie.
What happens sometimes.
And they didn't like Kiss was so bad at acting that they had to do voiceovers with other bad actors.
Like how they did like with Arnold back in the day.
Yeah.
A dub over.
Yeah.
But they only did that with Arnold because this fool didn't speak English. I thought you were gonna be like, neither does Kiss. I thought you were gonna say that. I don't know why.
Well, honestly, the way I see them, it's like they only know how to sing in English, but they speak like weird demon space cat language.
There it is.
And Star Child.
All right, we should start our reviews. It's time. It's time.
You want to do the comic first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Like review. Well, not like that, but like.
Where's
Comic book
Review.
I forgot to turn.
I was like, I hear an airplane in the background. I was like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. Like, anyway, comic book reviews. Let's
Jay.
start. Yes, I blame Jay as well. It's definitely his fault. How dare him? How dare him? Let's start with The Devil That Wears My Face.
Yes.
Mad Cave Studios. This comic came out like actually just earlier in October. Is that right?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago. Okay, cool. So
Maybe 3, but in October.
Moses, tell us about it. What's the deal with The Devil That Wears My Face?
What I can't tell you who wrote it or
I
drew
can pull
it.
that info up.
Yeah, but what I can tell you, it's about this priest that's sent by the Vatican. He's it takes place back in the day in like the 1700s, late 1700s, and it's they're already not liking exorcisms at the Vatican. They're like, this stuff is old school shit. Like, we don't need to be doing this. We're moving to the future. But this one priest became a priest because he was a survivor of a bad exorcism, and they made him. If you watch Supernatural, it's like that. Like, you survive you survive an event with a supernatural creature or whatever, cryptid, whatever, you become a hunter. Like, that's kind of how it works. So that's where he's tasked, and they taught him all that, and now they're trying to do this weird thing where it's like, oh, that guy, he in the new world, he was mining for silver. He's got a lot of money that we could use, and his kids possessed. We don't want to, like, they didn't want to help him, but they're like, he's been mining silver. So they send this dude, and this dude's he's fractured already because of how he grew up, what he saw. So they send him to do the exorcism, and he's like, you don't even like my methods. Like, you just have me around cleaning shit. So it's like, what you're sending me, and it's like, well, we want you because you could do it. You've lived through this, so you know what to do. And he's been mining silver, so if you succeed, we're gonna get some money, Right. And he goes, and then he basically pulls a Spider-Man 700 where basically the demon swaps bodies with him, and then he goes back to the Vatican. So the priest is stuck in the possessed boy's body, and then the local priests are still trying to like save him and shit, and they can't because it's like, he's not being blasphemous. He's not saying, hey, your mother sucks cocks in hell. Like, he's not saying shit like that. He's saying like the demons in the other body, like, so you still see him as crazy. But so his Father Vieri or whatever is stuck in Spain, and then the demon went back to Vatican, and he's raising hell in the Vatican.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much, that's what it is. It's written by David Pepos, artist Alex Cormack. I'm sorry, Alex Cormack, letterer Justin Birch. So forgive me if I've mispronounced any of those names, but that is who is responsible for the writing, the art, and the lettering, respectively. I'm looking into chat. I do see GZ Dr. Forev said, for some reason I misread the topic as a review on The Devil That Wears Prada. Yeah, maybe next week we'll do that.
The band or the movie or the book?
Oh, look, Moses got his studious glasses on. He's like, or the book. Yeah, man. No, The Devil That Wears My Face. Oz, you get a chance to read this book?
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you say? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, like, yeah. What did you think, Oz? Like, what was your thoughts on what you read?
Yeah, it's interesting. I like that concept. We get a lot of possession stuff, and an exorcist has to fight a demon, but it's rare that like you get that switch. So
Right.
that kind of made it interesting
Hmm.
just to see. And yeah, like Mo said, dude is not being blasphemous at all. He's like talking normal, and you got the Spanish Inquisition still like fucking like throwing crosses at him, and yeah, it's an interesting. I want to say twist, just because I don't think I've ever seen that swap happen.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, the concept is definitely, I think, like, well, here's the thing. I know for myself, like, I love the whole idea of Christian mythology, and like the idea of, you know, priests fighting demons on
Like
the
what I said
friggin'
earlier in the show, people love BS.
I mean, he said mythology, so
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, and it's like it's awesome and interesting. You know what I'm saying? I love it. And so honestly, just the fact that I'm reading a story about like a priest that specializes in exorcism from the Vatican, that's enough for me, probably, for me to be like, oh, you know what, this is cool. Like, I like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be interested to see like how they play this story out, because again, you're right. Like, it is something that we see relatively, not well, relatively often, right? It's not like it's not a new story. It's not something that like you can, for the most part, you can definitely like call the beats out in what's probably going to happen. And I think that is why this uh was so intriguing, because yeah, that beat of the switch happening is like, oh no, that's like, I feel like that's kind of fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get me wrong, like we've definitely seen demons, or no, I've seen demons like jump bodies, but I've never seen a demon basically like jump into a priest and impersonate the priest. And I'm just like, oh, like this is a whole different twist. And so, and you're right, like it definitely has the same kind of vibe as Superior Spider-Man, where you had Spider-Man trapped in Doc Ock's feeble body, and
Yeah.
trying to like communicate and convince people like, no, I'm not this guy, please help me. And everybody ignoring him because it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, whatever. And
And
it's not.
I use that example not as like a derivative, like is saying it's derivative. It's just
Oh
it
no,
reminded
I'm
me
not
of
saying
that, 'cause
derivative
it's
either.
the hero and the villain, but it's really it's
Hmm.
still like Freaky Friday. Like it's another concept, a body swap concept attached to the possession thing. So it's like
Yeah,
you got body swap and possession together.
right,
It's like chocolate and peanut butter.
right. And I wouldn't call it derivative at all either, because
Yeah.
the other thing that I found really interesting was, like you mentioned, how you have like the Inquisition still, you have stuff, the Inquisition kind of going on, and you have the priest trying to exercise this this guy's son. uh like the body that the priest is in seems like it still succumbs to like the normal kind of stuff that would be um like demons would have issues with. Like when the cross touches the body, it burns
Yeah.
it. And obviously, like, the priest himself doesn't have any issue with the cross, but the body has a problem. So it's like, oh, like that's like a whole nother fold on top of it, where it's like, so is that body like not, is that not a human body, or is it like,
Unhallowed.
hmm?
It's unhallowed. It's damned.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I mean, it might something like that. I don't know. Like, it's like, what's the deal with it?
That's the
Because
thing too, like, when they talk about possession, it's like, is his soul lost forever? And it's like, it's not his fault he was possessed. Like, or can't God, the great creator of the universe, make a judgment call?
I mean, if you're going on the mythology, it is partly his fault for succumbing to
yeah,
sin.
yeah,
but we're born with sin, so it's like again, it's so that's the
It's
that's
it's
the
not
yes, yeah.
it's
Like
not
what isn't sin?
solely
Like you're
Well,
gonna like
you're
if
born with the
I
original sin, which was placed
right,
upon you, but
but
if you choose to commit sin, it's a
but
totally
like
different thing.
but here's the thing. Let's say you and I are friends. Your videos get slightly more viewers, and I'm like, man, and I have envy. Like I'm not getting nothing. Like I if I get possessed, I go to hell for that. Like, is that what you're saying?
no, but here's the thing. It's not solely about sin. It's more about a lack of faith, you know? Like so like ideally, if you believe strong enough, you can't get possessed. But obviously, that's one of those things where that's easy to say when you're not the one possessed, right? Like, and it turns
Yeah.
out that how much faith you do and don't have
It always
is
seems like
all
people
a
that are
matter, a subjective matter, right? Like
And also,
nobody.
you don't know how he got possessed. He might have been doing like a ritual to summon a demon to get power. He might have been doing something like that.
Yeah,
Like we don't know. We don't know.
he deserves it. People that don't deserve it don't get possessed. No, I'm joking. I don't like, but that's
But
how
we
some
know
people
nothing
feel.
about this person.
That's how some people feel.
We don't know anything about this person at this point, or the person that was in that body. Like we don't know. We know they come from rich family. That's always frowned upon, isn't it?
no, they love that. The Vatican loves that. GZ
Vatican does, but I mean, society.
Dr. Frere says it's the movie Face Off.
Dude, I
And
love this song.
and it's kind of like that. Yeah, I get those vibes from it.
And this is a Nicolas Cage show.
Hey, all shows are Nicolas Cage shows.
Yeah,
People just don't realize it.
he's a treasure.
Indeed, a natural treasure.
National, yeah.
I was trying not to say that, but
Well, I was drinking. I was
Burr says it sounds kind of like Blue Exorcist.
Oh, I
And
don't know Blue Exorcist.
yeah, that kind of has those vibes too. Part of it, he says anyway. And it's like, yeah,
Okay.
it's similar concept, a slightly different execution time period, all that. Yeah.
Yeah. How do y'all
Yeah.
feel about the art?
The art for me is I'm gonna go ahead and say it's good because it just flows with everything and the people changing, whether they're like they do the little like jump scare in it, so it's kind of cinematic in a sense. Like the chick transforms into like Golem for a second, because of her anxiety. So it's expressive art, and usually that type of stuff is reserved for like manga, where like the heads get all big when they're like yeah, But here it's not that style, but it still manages to give you those things in that way without it being too cartoony. And then I like the design of like Legion, like his shadow is all eyes. It's
Yeah.
the easiest way to do eyes. The easiest way to express Legion is eyes. So it looks good,
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Oz? What do you think?
I'm gonna same thing. I think it was good, fine. There's some pages way better than others, obviously.
Yeah. That's how I felt.
Like when Mo said, when you got the eyes, and he's like, when
Mm-hmm.
the priest and the demon are in actual battle,
Mm-hmm.
like those were some great pages,
Yeah.
and then the rest were okay. They were good, okay, good,
Mm-hmm.
around there. So overall,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely does the job, and I do feel like there are some pages that are better than others, and I feel like you can kind of tell, like, there was some stuff the artist or some scenes the artist enjoyed drawing more. Like I feel like anything that has like the actual the rich man's son in it, that as he's possessed, like any of those scenes, the art is really like top notch. And then like like the other stuff outside of that is not bad by any means. Like there's no part of the art that I call bad. It's just you can see that the enthusiasm is there for some of the art and a little less so for other parts, which, hey, you can't be mad at a comic book artist for not putting all of the passion into every single page. I mean, it's like at some point, I'm sure it becomes tedious, you know?
I'm like sometimes like when you're watching a movie, like you have like the real poignant moments, have the really interesting shots,
Right.
but then some of the expositional shots are just like there to move the story along, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So
Yeah.
it's like in comics is like the splash page, but this I felt like this art here was more like a movie than a comic in the sense that the splash pages were more like splash panels,
Mm-hmm.
and you know maybe one page instead of a 2-page spread for some things like that. But uh, yeah, it's just part, but it all works with, at least for me, it all worked with the experience of moving the story along. Yeah.
So hey, and speaking of the story, that kind of brings us to like how things ended. Um, and one thing that this book does do, which I was like, oh, that's cool, is they kind of give you like a little bit of preview of the next issue. Which I know I was like, I actually was pretty happy about, just because I was like, I'd actually really like to read that next issue. You know. But it's interesting too, because I know like the title, like as soon as you said uh the title of the book, which I won't lie, I always have a little bit of a trouble remembering, just because it's a lot of words, but the words are impactful. It's not. I don't ever misremember the concept. I just sometimes put an additional word or leave a word out. But the devil that wears my face, I was like, huh, okay. Like I understood, like just from the first time you put it in the chat, I was like, oh, okay, like that's probably gonna be like some possession stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, but having read the story, I'm just like, oh, like no, this is deeper than just a regular possession. Like this fool's about to like literally like he took his place. So
Yeah.
it's it's like, oh, okay, so like I'm just like, where are we gonna go from here? Because a demon that's not, and keeping in mind like the priest isn't like a super high level priest or anything like that, but he's a dude that has the ear of a powerful person or two. Um, it'll be interesting to see like where they take it in the story. And it's like, I know for me, I'm like, it's hard to tell for me, just because I'm like, we haven't been in a situation like this before that I can remember. So what do you all think about where the story is going to go, or where would you like to see it go?
I would like to see it like destroy the Vatican altogether, like that. But
Well, like
it's
abolish the church.
but that's the thing. It's like where like you believe in a God that's all powerful, but the people that fight the enemy, if they don't have strong enough conviction and faith, can't do shit. And it's like, it's really that God that powerful, you know? And that's a story concept that's at work here. As it goes. So I don't know if they're gonna follow that, but that's like kind of the question I want answered. you
Mm-hmm.
know, because it's like even the Cardinals are all still stuck with greed and the Vatican and all that, the organization of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the point, it's like, can't we just worship in our homes instead? Like we'd be stronger if we just did that. Yeah,
I do find
technically.
it. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, like technically, like I think that would show the stronger faith and not require money, and then you can fight demons and shit.
Mm-hmm. See, and that's the thing. Like, I think the intriguing part of this whole thing, where, um, you know, technically, we don't know. Like I was saying, we don't know what happened with the son. Like they call it a possession, but maybe the son wasn't possessed. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll find out. But like from a traditional standpoint, like the priest didn't get possessed. Like
Yeah,
he got like his mind
Body
got switched.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a mind swap. So I'm like, oh, like
Right.
yeah, and so it's interesting because it's like that's
But
like
again,
you
the
know,
whole reason he's there is for greed, you know, not
who's
to
there for greed?
the priest that went there to exorcise the demon.
No,
And
see, he's not. I don't think that
he's
like
not
that
he
priest.
was sent for greed. Like he's
Well,
being
yeah,
used,
but that's not the same thing.
but he knows he's there for that. Like that's in the back of his head. Like so
Yeah,
it's like
I mean, but it's like saying like if I send you to go do something that benefits me, or that is like I'm doing it for a selfish reason. But
yeah.
when you hear what the task is, you're like, I would have done that probably anyway but for an altruistic reason. It's like just because I have a selfish motive doesn't make you less altruistic.
I guess. I mean, it's look again. It's the story they want to tell, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's in it things. So it's like how we would do this story if it was us. But for me, it's more like this dude's set up to fail just because he knows like
Mm.
he was Mighty Silver. He could pretty come through here, like, and he's like with that like doubt in his own organization. It's like, man, if he was just the fucking one of those revivalists with the tent, he probably had more power against that demon.
Get behind me, Satan.
Yeah. If he was a
It's
snake,
interesting though because I see where you're coming from, and I don't like I don't disagree or disagree in the sense that definitely the priest that sent him had some questionable motives about it, but I also feel like to a degree, I feel like that priest was like this could potentially be a win-win situation for them, right? Because they're like, if he does it, then we get this guy on our side, and that's great. If he doesn't do it, he probably just gets killed by this thing. And they're like, oh, well, we didn't need that guy anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude's expendable. So, and, there are people like he's not a popular guy in the church, like he just has like a powerful dude in the church that's like his mentor. So people have to tolerate him, but he's not like, this big shot. And he even tells he tells him like, hey, nobody else needs to know about this. And he's like, you're gonna have done the future pope a favor, And so he's like, just go and don't say anything and come back. But if he's like, hey, if he goes and he dies, then he's just like, that's what happens, right? But
Also,
now, of course, nobody's was anticipating that this fool will get swapped. I'm sorry.
also like the guy sending him like they introduce us to a bunch of characters that while they're part of the Vatican, they're obviously there for greed or
Right.
lust for power, and that's all just more fodder for this demon to
Right.
show up. And because that's how he attacked the exorcist was, oh, I see your doubt. He looked at him, looked into him, and saw his weaknesses, and these are all weaknesses of the other people in the Vatican, which is giving this demon an avenue to attack and take all these people out.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly
it's like
take over the Vatican itself at that point.
The wild part is
history.
Wait, say that again, Mike?
I actually think this is like actual history.
There was like a theory that at some point the Vatican was taken over by demonic forces, and it's one of the reasons that the current Pope Francis, as a Jesuit, which are like the exorcist of the Catholic faith, like started getting rid of all the gold shit and just being like simple. He's like, nah,
man.
You guys taking this way like it's you guys we're supposed to be like Jesus, like poor. Like, right. I don't know why we got this golden throne,
dude.
I just need
my man took it back to basics in a real way.
When he first became Pope, like they found out that he was sneaking out and like just performing like exorcisms or doing something like with the people, and they had to like tell him, dude, you can't be just out there.
Right. But that's the thing, right? but the Pope should be doing stuff like that.
Right.
You know? Right. GZ
He's
Dr.
he's
Forev
battle
says
pope.
he's Battle Pope. Right?
He used to be a
Aren't the con-
bouncer.
Is that true?
Yeah, when he was younger, Pope
Was he
Francis.
the Hitler Youth one too?
No, that's the guy he replaced.
What? Like that's
That was
Benedict.
Benedict.
I'm asking. I was asking. I don't follow that bullshit.
Yeah, no, the one that's on now replaced the Hitler Youth guy.
Yeah. GZ Dr. Forev says, aren't the comic book characters Spawn and Ghost Rider good guys? But because they made a deal with the devil, they get to walk the earth as long as they give him souls. / wouldn't the priests being possessed get to weed out those posing as good but are evil?
Well, those are Faustian deals, and like their spirit. Like for example, Spawn, like he got a raw deal. He got
Yeah,
fucked.
definitely.
You know, so he's not getting like there's no like the monkey paw shit for Spawn happened in issue 2. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so he doesn't get to do whatever, like, and then Ghost Rider is another one. Like he's a good guy. He has a spirit of vengeance. He didn't make a deal with the devil. He made a deal with the spirit of vengeance. So it's like a demon,
different demon.
you know. But if you watch
lesser
it,
demon.
right, and it's not even a demon. It was just a ghost that's like, I need to feed off of it, and you need vengeance. So here we can help each other. It's like
Mhm.
it's like a in that case. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, both those guys got screwed. I mean, as far as like, you
Heck,
know,
coming in clutch. Heck's late, but he says, "Read a comic, GZ." Ah,
that's too funny. Uh-oh. Mo's going for the sign.
that's for you, GZ.
As far as like a priest being able to weed out good from the bad, I mean, like, you can't be a priest possessed by a demon and doing good. It's like it's just like, yeah. I mean, well, I don't believe that that's the case. You could be a priest possessed by a demon and think you're doing good, but you probably end up doing bad, right? Or you could just be a corrupt ass priest and there's no demon involved, and you're just like a bad person that pretending to be good, which is the people that you're saying that the priest might be able to seek out. But I don't know. Like I don't see it like I could be, it's just a thought. Like I feel like a priest that wants to do good and that has faith probably doesn't get possessed, right? Probably
I mean,
doesn't.
well, yeah, I mean, we see a lot of stories where there's not necessarily a demon involved, but this person is doing bad things, but somebody has
Mhm.
convinced them that they need to do this for the greater good.
Oh yeah. Right.
So that obviously happens. And
Like,
look, there are a lot of people, greedy, corrupt people in positions of power in every
Mhm.
organization.
A good or a story that came out relatively recently that has something like that is the new Castlevania Nocturne has a priest in it that's doing questionable things that the priest has convinced himself and others that we're doing these questionable things for the greater good of the church. And I believe that priest genuinely believes that, but like it's messed up, and it's one of the like it's the literal definition of like a slippery slope. And it's actually like a really interesting and good story. Like if you all haven't messed with Castlevania Nocturne, I would definitely suggest it. Even though I mean all the Castlevania is good, so I would say mess with it from the beginning if you're gonna. You can do Nocturne on its own if you want, because it is like its own story, but I would definitely say might as well watch it all. So, what's Bird talking about?
He says, "What if you're good, but you're possessed by a bad guy pretending to be good, but forgets to do bad things? Are you?" And that's my like key. Like so, Heck came in. And he says, "Nah."
Nah.
But that's the thing. Like you're
Nah.
saying, forget
really-
to do the bad things, but you forget that that person thinks they're doing good things, and they just happen to be bad
And
things.
that's my whole thing with possession. I don't believe in it. Like it's not like it's stupid. Like it's just not like it's not real. You know?
You don't think like a such thing as a demon could exist?
No,
What about a spirit?
no. Like I mean, like
No.
maybe a whiskey spirit, like as a spirit, like a liquid
so
spirit.
so
Yeah,
you don't think the only things that exist in this world, Mo, are physical things, no spiritual?
yeah, no spiritual. No, no.
So you
Like
don't think it's possible that there's a interdimensional being that forget God, the devil's demon, and all that, just a being.
that's not what the Bible. That's not what the Bible teaches. That's not what the people that fight exorcisms fight against. Like they're not using interdimensional. Like they're not using a electromagnetic pulse to try and get somebody out. Because they're an interdimensional. You know what? Maybe it isn't a demon. Maybe it's an interdimensional person. Let me fuck with the radio waves in the room. Let me put some tinfoil over them. Nobody
Some,
says that.
some people think that a group of people getting together and praying are projecting energy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and some people likes their pickles.
So I don't know if there's an interdimensional energy being and you're fighting it by projecting energy that we haven't discovered.
I
Same.
mean, but it doesn't work. Like I've never seen anybody like. It's more people just being assholes and being mentally ill, and people don't want to be like, you know what? It takes a lot. Let's just pray for them. It takes a lot. Like it costs a lot to like medicate them or research what their particular problem is on the fucking spectrum. Let's just pray for them. Like it just seems like the easier answer is to fucking pray for them, and you don't get any fucking results. The pedophiles stay pedophiles. They just resist the urges, which makes them angrier. And the drug addicts are still addicts. They just substitute the addiction, which is what any fucking 12-step program gives you. It ain't prayer. Yeah.
I believe
I
a
think
higher power is part of the 12 steps, but go on.
Yeah. Look again. I did a little bit of a 12-step. Higher power was me. If I want to stop, I'll stop. Yeah. Like
Derek Gage, I think, agrees with you, Moses, where he
yeah.
says, "Blah blah blah, priests be raping kids." Like, what?
It ain't fucking priest. It doesn't. It could be the usher. It could be it could be the lady that just finds my brother hot. Sorry for putting your shit out there, brother. But but that's just what it is, and it's like it's like there's no. You just pray for people instead of like trying to change. Change who they are. You know.
I mean, I like obviously like if what you're saying is uh prayer alone isn't necessarily the best the best solution to some of the world's problems, I would agree with you 100%
Yeah.
in the sense that it's like like the Bible itself says faith without works is dead, right? It's like you can't just believe, you got to
Look, I
do
feel like work without faith works better.
what work without faith works better. Hey, and that's fair too. Like
You're putting more
I,
energy to work. Like in the actual physics meaning of work, it's moving to get something done. If you're not spending energy on faith and putting all your energy on work, yeah.
what I will say is this is that I mean, and look, you know me, like this, look, both of you know me, so this is not going to come
I don't know
as
you. I
any
never met
surprise.
you in life. What the fuck are you talking
What I'm about to say
Where
probably
where
won't come won't come as any surprise to either one of you based on how you have known me to live my life up until this point. Um, I definitely believe that there's something to be said about positivity
Yeah.
and about positive energy, and I do feel like it affects things in a physical space. So it's like just the act of thinking and believing positively, coming into you could be a positive person coming into a negative space and change the
Yeah.
temperature and the vibe of that entire room.
That's really just it's vibes. That has nothing to do with God. You
And
could do
that's
that. Never
exactly-
heard
Well,
of
I
God.
mean, but you could definitely say you could say that like that when it comes to vibes, like that could just be a different interpretation of something like faith
no,
or prayer
you want me to
or
give you the answer? I'll give you the answer. It's like we live
I'll
in
listen.
an atmosphere with a membrane of oxygen. Everything is conducted through it, whether it's radio signals, sound waves,
Mhm.
vibrations. So it's like we're just all in this membrane locked in together, and they all bounce off each other. That has nothing to do with God. That's the formation of our atmosphere and gravity on this flat Earth dome we live in.
But you don't feel like if somebody calls that prayer, you don't feel like that
I-
could potentially be the sin?
I think they're doing themselves a disservice. Like if they
Okay,
actually,
hey,
because they're giving it a mystical aspect to it that is not that magical thinking. That's like somebody with OCD, you know?
but I'm saying, but vibes isn't a scientific like
Well, no, there is
terminology. Like,
oxygen, and oxygen conducts energy. And if you have a certain energy, the ripples happen, you know?
yeah,
Like
but
you
what
can
I'm saying
see
is
it, like if
like
you slow down, a camera, you can see a bullet
what
sound affecting the air around it.
right.
You can't
But what
see
you're talking
a
about with
specific prayer. You can't see a specific prayer do something like grow somebody's leg out that didn't have a
well,
leg.
right, but what I'm saying to you is what you're talking about with the vibes and the oxygen, it's like that's a theory, but no one's proven that, right?
That there's no oxygen,
No, not that we know
or
there's
that
oxygen.
you can't push something, like you can't turn off a candle by pushing the airwaves.
No, of course. Look, we know
Like,
airwaves exist. What I'm talking about is, but what you were talking about is positivity going through the air and changing things.
no. I know. I said vibrations. Your body vibrate at a certain frequency. Your cells and everything. That it's not like your thoughts. Your thoughts make your body do shit.
Okay,
But
but what if prayer is how people change their vibrations to do what you say it does?
then
Like you
they're
keep saying, I haven't seen anybody pray and see somebody's leg regrow. Well, I haven't seen somebody vibrate till their leg regrows either.
right, because you can't regrow leg. That's what it is. It's done. There's no.
Right, but we're not talking about regrowing a leg.
But,
We're talking
but
about
if,
like
if the guy that growing the leg is sad, and you come in happy, and you just listen to him bitch about his leg, he'll be a little less sad, at least for a second.
right,
Come with bitch got a second dick.
Yeah,
you know,
we call
then-
that confession.
bitch got a second dick.
yeah, because his chopped off leg at the femur looks like a big old dick.
What?
You never
Okay.
seen that? You never seen the dude
Huh?
like that? You never seen a dude loft up his leg like that where it looks like a second dick?
No.
Me neither.
No.
But I have faith
Oh,
that
wait. Okay. Oh man, that's too funny. Okay, we should rate we should rate the devil that wears my face as we before we delve even further into the friggin' theological / epistemological rabbit hole. So yeah. Hex says vibes has nothing to do with God and the art was good. 3 out of 5. Thank you, Hex. Hex
Yes, that's
came in with
great.
our first review or our first rating. Thank you, Hex. Yes.
This is probably why
I'll-
Jay didn't show up. He knew we were gonna get into this like whole religious
I
thing.
know. Right, Jay is like, I want no parts of
It's like
it.
a Christian, a Catholic, and an atheist. I'm out.
I'm not even an atheist. Like, I'm waiting for proof.
A Mosesist.
Yeah.
Agnostic.
Moist.
Yeah, a Moist.
Moist. Like they're gonna think you're Maoist. You're gonna get arrested. Oh, see.
Oh,
Moses. Jesus Christ, Moses, what are you
I was
doing?
really hoping we'd make 5 cents on this one.
Well, with faith we can.
Oh no! Don't bring God into this now.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Oscore, what would you rate The Devil That Wears My Face?
I'm gonna give it 4.5. It's an interesting story. I liked it.
Yeah. Moses Magnum, what would you rate The Devil That Wears My Face?
It's a 4 out of 5 for me too. It's good. It's not perfect, but that adding that preview to that first issue, like I already wanted to read it, and I felt like I read some of the second issue. That's genius. Like I'm gonna be, the only thing they could have done is probably give you the pre-order code for your comic shop right at the end, printed right over, so you can just call them. Hey, Jeff. Oh, sorry. Hey. Oh, sorry. Yeah, like you can't pre-order. I am gonna look on their website. Hopefully, I can pre-order it through them directly. I'm down.
Yeah. No, I would give it 4.5 as well. Like I really enjoyed it. It's a great story, amazing twist, cool characters. I can't wait to see what happens next. I have no idea where the story's going to go, which is something I don't get to say about many comics in this day and age. So I will definitely be waiting with bated breath for issue 2 later this month. So yeah, good job, folks. So okay, cool. Time to talk about bodies, and so
Also,
no, more about gel coat.
When the fourth round would...
Don't you call it?
does it look good already? Jumbo Scampi for limited.
what happened to Oz?
You thought of bodies. It's like I gotta get back to Jay.
I forgot about that torrid love affair. Thank you for reminding me, Mo. So, Bodies. Bodies is a comic book that originally came out from Vertigo, which is of course the one of the mature, or for the longest time was the mature label imprint at DC Comics. It is the story of a body that is found in or on Long Harvest Lane that is discovered by detectives, but the twist or the hook is that this same body is discovered by 4 different detectives in 4 different time periods, ranging from all the way as early as the I think it's the late 1800s, all the way to as far as I think it's 50 something. So
3, I think it is.
There it is. So you got basically 4. Say again.
The TV show.
It's 2053 in the TV show. Right. And I do feel like definitely some of the dates have been changed from the TV show to the comic, or from the comic to the TV show, I should say. But I mean, the big difference is that the comic came out in 2014. So 2014 was the present day when the comic came out. And because this show came out recently, the present day is 2023. And so they decide to go with that for the present day as opposed to doing it in 2014. Which, ironically enough, is one of those things where it's like, you would think like, okay, well, that doesn't make that much of a difference. But in some ways it does, and in some ways it doesn't, which is, like, it's just crazy, the idea to think that we're in 2023 right now. If you think back to 2014 isn't that long ago, like literally less than 10 years ago, but the world feels like it was in a different place as Hecht basically demonstrates, where he says 2014 was like 50 years ago. the world was very different in 2014. So,
Yeah.
and that's the wild part. Is like 2014, like we all knew each other in 2014.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, but yeah, like the way that we conducted ourselves, the things that we would have said in 2014 that we wouldn't even consider saying in 2023. Well, okay, Mo would consider. I, Oz would only think it, but then act accordingly. You know, Jay would put it in his YouTube videos. No, if he made them. You know, those kinds of things. But anyway, yeah. But so Bodies is so it's an interesting book / show because it has a crime procedural aspect to it, but it also has a hint of sci-fi to it. It has a hint of the occult. It's a lot of different things, and at its heart, it's a story that's trying to tell itself throughout a number of years throughout time. So, Moses, what was your thought on, or what is your thought on Bodies? And why don't you start with the comic?
The comic, definitely read the comic. The comic's good. The show's good, but just watch Dark.
Mm.
So it's
Dark is definitely another show on Netflix that
concept
definitely messes with the time travel aspect.
It might have come out before the comic too, I think.
No, Dark didn't come out before.
Yeah, it might have. Maybe right
after. Oh,
after.
Not on Netflix, but you're saying like
no, it was made for Netflix, so it maybe it came out 2 years after the comic, if that.
I don't know. I'll look, but keep talking.
It definitely like the comic, like it. I don't. How much did you guys watch of the show? Because I only watched 3 episodes. So
I only got to see like 2.5. So
okay, yeah. So
I only saw the first, but I tried to get to the next ones because I wanted to.
Yeah, it's a good show. If you've never read the comic, it's a good show. I made a mistake of reading the comic while I was still watching the show, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to watch this show.
I got something similar.
Because the comic itself, like, you know, when you talk about the 1890 timeline, the late 1800s timeline, they're dealing with Jack the Ripper. Like that's part of the thing, the concept of the show. It's like they think it's Jack the Ripper, and the show doesn't do that at all. Yeah, and so that's an aspect to it that plays throughout. When you read the comic as a whole, it plays throughout it a little bit towards the reveal, you know. And how much of the comic did you guys read?
I got through 3.5 issues.
No, you guys suck. How about you?
I got to the third one.
Oh, you guys do suck.
I mean, it's like what, 5 issues or 6?
8.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't realize it was 8.
Yeah, so I read all 8.
Nice. Okay.
And so you definitely, like, when you talk about the occult stuff, the show kind of hints at it, but it doesn't do it. The future timeline in the show is way different. So as an adaptation,
completely different.
Look, again, Derek's listening right now, like, and he's like, because that's like that's his favorite thing is when we shit on shows because they're not like the comics. I'm not shitting on this show because it ain't like the comic. The thing is, it's some things like I'm okay with some changes. Like they don't show the detective's family in 1890 in the comic at all. They allude to his family. They don't show it. The show decides to show it for some reason. And you know, the comic just gets to the nitty-gritty of everything. Like and that's how I know, like, moving forward after 3 episodes of the TV show, it's like it's gonna change a lot because the way they're the what they would have done if they didn't show the family in here would have taken longer. And I almost feel like after 3 episodes, reading 3 issues of the comic and 3 episodes of the show, it's like the comic moved along way faster. So like I can only imagine what they cut out of it here. Now, some of the this, when we had the great author here talking about the ship with the red hair, and he talked about like comics, like he loves comics because you can do anything in comics. You don't have to worry about
Right.
time and demographic, and you just make a
Mhm.
comic, people resonate, people buy it, people, and that's that's what played in my mind when I was reading it, because like, yeah, like some of these things, like if you show Jack the Ripper in a glass jar full of with like tentacles and shit coming out of him, like on a show,
Mhm.
like what they're giving you as bodies, like it's gonna feel off, even if it's a different timeline, you know. And those are the weird changes that you get. Like a couple weeks ago, I had a weird conversation with somebody about Walking Dead. Like she's a really big Walking Dead fan, and it's like, I go, I stopped when Tyrese died. And then they're like, well, why? And it's
Mhm.
like, because it's like the Tyrese, they didn't do Tyrese like the comic, like, so it's like, why give him that death? Like, I'm like, this show sucks. Like they're fillering it without filler, needing fillers, you know.
Mhm.
And so and then we talked about like what's his face dying, Glenn, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I knew he was gonna die. I know all that story already, like, because that's
Right.
the one time they decide to do it like, more or less like a comic, you know? But it's like, and that's where I feel with this. It's like the show. It's like I'm not gonna say I hate it, but it's definitely like a homogenized, sanitized, streamlined version. Like the whole future timeline, the way they show it in the comic is different. Like the the future timeline in the show is like, okay, like Minority Report. All right, cool.
Right.
Yeah, smart cars. You got this. In the comic, it's
Right.
literally an amnesiac's fucking like Mad Max. Like it's the post-apocalypse, and everybody's
Right.
amnesiac and doesn't. They only remember certain aspects of like what they were entertained by, and they speak accordingly. You know,
Right.
and that was like an
Right.
interesting touch. It's almost like Idiocracy without the commentary. You know,
Right.
that's
Right.
just they live in. And that I felt like and then that journey for that detective in that world, in that timeline, was like, man, this is actually really good, and how it affects the
Yeah.
past timelines. Like I have yet to really see in 3 episodes how each timeline affects each other. And
Right.
in the show, it's 3 episodes in, and they're just now giving you the guy scratching something in the wall, which wasn't even
Yeah.
in the comic. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oz, you said that you kind of had a experience yourself in regards to like going between the comic and the show. Why don't you speak to that?
I made the mistake of watching the TV show first. And
Okay.
that first episode like really got my attention. It's a mystery. It's a mystery,
Mhm.
and it's a mystery across time. So it really got my attention. I wanted to see the second episode, but I didn't have time to sit there and watch something. So I figured, well, I'll read the book and
Right.
get the story from there. And the book just like
Completely different
feels
direction.
like it goes in a totally different direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, like it's one of those times where like I think if I would have read the book first, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But because I saw the TV show first, I think it ruined it for me because now like the first 3 pages of the book is backstory on this protest and like the political situation of this 2014 London or
Mhm.
whatever. And I'm sitting there like none of this matters. Get to the body. None of this matters because in TV show, the homegirl just shows up to the protest to do her job 'cause she's a cop. And then
Right.
that's when stuff
Their
starts
day off.
happening. And then, you get to like the future thing. And I saw it in the TV show, I saw the future thing, which, like you said, it's Minority Report. It's just advanced stuff. And she's calling in the body like normal. And the future in the book is like completely different.
Mhm.
Bugged me because I wanted, in the back of my mind, I still wanted to see episode 2. But I know if I would have read the book, that whole like I would have assumed, and maybe this is what happens that Mo read further than I did. I would assume that whatever's going on with the body is what caused the amnesia. It might not have been, but it might not have been. But as I would have been reading, I'm like, oh, they didn't figure it out, so now everything's fucked up in the future. It would have. I would have seen the book differently.
Yeah. Now I hear what you're saying.
So watching the TV show messed me up with the book.
And I can understand where you're coming from, only because. Wait, what was that?
That was my dog. She's guarding the house.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a
I think the future we see in the TV show made me realize that the future in the book wasn't caused by the event.
Bert says, "What the fuck was that sound?" Listen, wait. I only put that up there because I was like, I felt the same way. I was like, is that the Mickey sound? It sounded like, why is it demonic Mickey? No, it was like, yeah, like okay, got it. We all like everybody was concerned, but we're good. Got it.
They want to see what you look like with that sound. Come here.
No, but what I can say is this: is fortunately, like, and here's the thing. In the past, usually I try to like read the comic first and try to do the adaptation. Oh, look, there she is. I'm trying to pet her through the screen. Oh, she's so cute.
I wanted to go.
Oh, look at that! Is that an Emily hand?
Yeah.
The rare Emily Magnum sighting.
It's our anniversary tomorrow.
Wow, you're right.
10-year wedding anniversary.
Dude.
Not to me and the dog. Me and Emily.
Congratulations, Bo. I know it's not to you and the dog. The dog wasn't here 10 years ago. Wow, that's so awesome.
I was going to do Halloween as Lobo and dog. But I didn't.
Cool. That's okay. But I normally try to read the source material first and then do the show. I didn't have the time for that. So I read a couple issues of the source material first, right? So I went 2 issues in. Then I was like, well, let me watch like episode or 2 of the show. And that was enough for me to be like, oh, these, like, there's something doing something different with this show versus the source material. And, you know, I haven't gotten as far as you have, Mo. So, you know, I'm definitely not aware of how far it has deviated, but literally like watching or reading 2 issues of the book and then watching 2 episodes of the show, I was like, oh, this is a whole different thing because I remember
the Jewish
like,
story is totally different.
100%. A whole different thing, which is like the 1940 something timeline or whatever. They're completely different. I honestly all the timelines are a little bit, well, I won't even say a little bit. All the timelines are different.
Yeah, because the character, the Muslim lady character is like her characterization is different in the book than it is in the comic. Like she's just like
she's a lot more fun in the book.
Yeah, well
100%.
she's higher ranking for one. Like, you know, here she's just like getting called in on her day off. She's a family person, whereas here she's an independent woman, which was part of the commentary that the book. In the overall story of the book, when you really get to it, it's really the commentary, and it's honestly, I feel like in a sense, like when you finish the book, it is an important book to read. I think it's going to be banned in a lot of the Republican states and some of these Democratic states, like Seattle. Yeah,
that's too funny.
No, man, I don't like they call it Islamophobe in Seattle, but they'll burn it in Louisiana. Like it's weird, but it's one of those things that I can see if people actually read this book and if this book took place in America, shit would have been burned already. Like Netflix series would have been canceled. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Like, and don't get me wrong, like I do agree with. Well, I won't agree with you, but what I will say
Oh,
is,
agree with me, motherfucker.
I definitely feel like the fact that it takes place in London is an important part of the whole thing, and
Mhm.
it's definitely like sets it in an entirely different ecosphere than if it did happen in America. Like, and that's the thing that I have to give at least the show credit for, in the sense that they didn't like try to transplant it from London to America. And I don't know who made the show, but I know that's something that happens sometimes, right? Where they have a show in a different place, and they're just like, oh, let's Americanize it. And it's like, no, like you need this whole thing needs to take place in London. Whether and don't be and I'm not even saying that in the sense that, oh, the show is better for its interpretation because it takes place in London. Because obviously it takes a lot of liberties with the source material. But if they had tried to Americanize it, it would have been a whole different thing that had just been like, oh, it would have been ugly, you know? So I'll give it its props for at least keeping it in the same country. And it's like I do feel like, I mean, it would have been hard to not do it in London, but if it was an American studio, they would have found a way, because they're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's better because it's in America, and it's like,
yeah.
no, it's
But
not.
honestly, I think Netflix would have had backlash if they would have made it in America, because it like if it, like just
Oh,
well, again, they don't use the those like alt-right protests in the show. They haven't used them as much as they use them in the book.
right,
In the
right,
book, it's a big thing, and
100%.
it's
Like
like literally, you can literally make an American version after 2016, whether you want to put BLM
yeah,
or Proud
yeah,
Boys in that space.
100%.
Yeah.
100, yeah, and you're right. Like, there's a whole scene in the comic where you have like a far right dude in London basically saying like, "Hey, I'm an okay dude. I'm a patriot."
Yeah.
And the cop who happens to be like the detective that happens to be Muslim and a woman is like literally like goes through the whole thing of like all the things that she does, that is like, I do all of this that is like very typical, like
Like if she was white, it'd be
London.
normal. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Which and it's one of those things where in some like it's interesting because it's one of those things where, and it makes a lot of sense for 2014 because it's like the list of things she goes down is like an assimilation kind of like checklist. Whereas like I did this and I did this and I did this and I did this. What makes you more of a patriot than me? Because I do all the things that Londoners do. Now, the funny part is in 2023, I kind of feel like that would be frowned upon, because it's like there would be a person that would be like, you don't even have to assimilate to be like a patriot of
Right.
London. All you
That
got to
that's
do
what
is just
that's what abandoned
yeah,
in Washington.
right, exactly, right. Like the whole thing is like you right, like in 2023, especially if like going down your route where you're like you could have made it an American thing. It's like I don't have to assimilate to whatever you think. Like I don't have to assimilate to like a Midwestern standard of what America is and is not to be American. All I gotta do is be from here. And if I'm from here and I live my life the way I live my life, I'm American.
Yeah.
And that was the thing where I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting. But I'm not knocking either one because I'm just like it's one of those things where there's a statement to be made where she's like, I I've done all the things that you for your standard would consider are being a patriot of England.
Yeah, she even fucked
But-
an Anglo-Saxon guy,
Right. And she's like, what makes you more of a patriot than me?
and she's not gonna
And
do
then-
that on a TV show.
Well, she would have in 2014, maybe.
No, they gave her a whole family, like, you know,
Huh?
they gave her a whole family. Like, she's not gonna cheat. They'll make her a cheater if she does, right?
Oh, well, yeah, but I think in the comics she doesn't have a whole family.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the way that the show changed it, she can't even
Yeah.
say, I fucked the Anglo-Saxon guy. Like, she's
Right.
still not, like, they even make her, like, not that type of moderate,
Yeah.
assimilated Muslim. Like, they
Right.
actually make her a little
Well,
more
because
traditional. Yeah.
and that's the whole point where it's like in 2014, that's how you combat the whole concept of, oh, how are you more patriotic than me? I assimilate. In 2023, assimilation is the enemy. You know, it's like you don't have to assimilate in 2023. And
Yeah.
so it's different now, you know, which is, and, you know, I'm not knocking that. I'm not like, because realistically, it's like, I mean, obviously England is different because I don't know that England, I don't know. Does England have birthright citizenship?
They had they had issues like those issues that they show in the book are issues they've been having for a while.
No, I understand that they have like an immigrant issue.
But
I'm saying I
I
don't.
don't know if they have birthright or not.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't.
Well,
I'm not
think
from
they
England.
do, at least in the book they do, because she says like when she gets caught. Well, you haven't got there yet, but there's like that she's gonna get sent to Guantanamo Bay because she's not.
Guantanamo.
Yeah, because there's nowhere to send her to. Like, there's no country to send her to because she is an England person and she got a yeah. Again, the show ain't doing what the comic did.
Hey man, look, no spoilers,
terrorist
no
in the comic.
spoilers.
She's a terrorist in
Damn.
the comic, which is like
Oh,
subvert what
Jesus.
the bill, you know. But you know, in the grand scheme of the book, the philosophy of the book, the philosophy of this body coming up, the reason it comes up, the hermeticism, the mysticism, the mythology that this book creates for that is, I don't know if the show's doing any of that.
Well, what I can say is this: is I believe the show is going to go down the like it's going to go down like the occult route. I think. I don't know, because like
I can tell you
what
why
I'll
not.
say is, huh?
It would make it too similar to Dark, and I feel like they literally like are gonna avoid it as the
No,
more
but-
it goes.
So I did look up Dark before too. Like Dark actually did come out as a show in Germany in 2017. So
That's
it
that's when it came out here too.
oh yeah?
Yeah, like it was
Oh,
made.
okay, cool.
It was made in Germany, but for here, for Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the
Okay.
first show to get a foreign production to make a show for Netflix.
got it. So yeah, 2017 to 2020 basically. And so yeah, so it definitely came out after the comic. But like I know like the like the as far as like I read more of the book than I saw the show. The book definitely starts delving deeper into the occult aspect of things sooner than the show does. And the show hints at it a little bit, but it hasn't gotten there in the same level by any means. And so
Well, the
But-
show had a whole other character.
in what respect?
The guy right here. Sorry, hold on.
What timeline?
The across all timelines. The guy on the cover on the. Let me show you real quick.
Oh. Uh-oh. Most
The
about
guy right
shows.
here. It's right there. The guy right there. You know, you see all the different detectives from different timelines on the side, and the one guy right there that's saying F.
Oh, that's the dude that like in the show, that's like one of the head dude in the future.
Well, he's yeah, you only watched like 2 episodes. He's also one of the head dudes in the past. So
okay,
he's in every
so
time.
yeah, okay.
Like,
okay, I don't know that.
Yeah, so that's that guy is not in the comic at all.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know anything about that. Oh, not the last episode, but one of the I just remember like the the woman, which this damn dumb dude that was in the trailer, and the chick's like, get out the trailer, and he's like, oh man, look, they're playing this crazy record. Are you listening to them? Out and I was just like, why? Like, who says? Like, why do you hear this woman say, "Get out the trailer"? And this fool's like, are you hearing this crazy stuff on the record?
And there's a
I was like,
attached to the stylist.
Yeah, right. It's like, my guy.
It wasn't
like,
even
you're
like
supposed to be a detective.
Like,
right, right. You're supposed to detect. But I'm just saying, listen, what I know is this: if I get a phone call,
like that sets up all that, that's not part of the comic either.
Right. And what I'm saying to you is this: if I get a phone call and I'm in a trailer, and I pick up the phone like, "Hey, hello," and somebody's like, "Get out the trailer," guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna walk. I'm not even gonna speak. I'm just gonna walk out the trailer, and I'm like, I'm outside. Why I had to get out of the trailer? Like, why I gotta get out of the trailer?
Now you know how to get him to the movie theater, Mo.
Yeah. Larry, come to the movie theater.
No. See, listen.
Burr says they're just variants in reference to me talking about all these people that aren't in the comic. And you know, to the degree they are, yeah.
They might be.
They're from the shit universe.
But here's the whole thing where you're not gonna mess around and get me to places. It's from places. You know, if you call me and like, get out the house, if you're somebody that I know and trust, I'm gonna get out my house because you told me to. Like, literally, Moses, Oz, if you're like, Larry, get out the house now, I will leave my house and go into the street and be like, what is happening? Because
I can't wait for 2 a.m.
Because the two of you have fostered enough trust in my view that I'm gonna be like, okay,
You're giving us way too much power to abuse.
No, see, it's trust, because here's what I'm saying is
trust that if we think it's funny, we're gonna do it.
Okay, listen,
and you walking out of the house at 2 a.m. in your underwear.
Here's what I'm gonna do though. Understand. What you here, and here's the friggin' caveat that you all haven't thought through yet. Obviously, if you call me 2 a.m. in the morning and I pick up the phone, which I would do, and you tell me get out the house, I'm gonna listen to you all because I trust you. But I'm not gonna leave Nia there. I'm gonna tell Nia to get out the house too with me.
And she's gonna be
so even funnier when she yells at you for getting her out the house.
Oh.
No, she's gonna yell at you. Yeah.
Right. She's not gonna yell at you. She just
Alexa's gonna yell at you.
Come get me. Come at me.
She's just gonna pretend like you don't exist. Which is okay. Which, if you're okay with that, then hey, no harm, no foul as far as you're concerned. What I'm saying to you is, like, every time afterwards where she's like, if I say, oh, Oz is in town, he's like, because we were outside 2 a.m. because Oz was like, oh, how funny is it that I made them go outside for nothing?
Will her sister still acknowledge my existence? As long as I get one of the Jetters.
Absolutely not. Look. The Jetters are
considerate.
They're ridiculously tight knit. Like they're all or nothing. They're like, look, one beef is everyone's beef.
Yeah, like the Duttons, yellow.
The mom too. Like I could party with the mom.
Look, whole squad. It's crazy. They don't even ask questions. They're just like, "Oh, we got beef. Okay, we got beef." You know, like for me, if my sister was like,
wait till the brother finds out you got beef.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Look,
I haven't met the brother.
Oh yeah. No, Justin is no joke.
Yeah, when you got beef with them,
Justin is like 6'3". Just like, yeah, he would be unhappy. But here's the thing, you know, like they're not me. Like if my sister's like, oh, they're no good people, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll roll with you. But the first opportunity, I'm like, so what happened? Like, why don't we mess with them? Like, I'm gonna ask questions. Jedders don't ask questions. They just like, if you don't like them, I don't like them. They don't even care. They don't even care. They are 100% a unit, and they look at you crazy like, why would you even ask the question? And I was like, well, I just want to know.
they're a J unit.
It's like, I'm not saying that I'm not with you. I'm just saying, why though? Can you look? Help me to be as angry as I should be. You know, like why? I don't know why. Like I can pretend to be angry, but if I don't know, I'm just gonna it's friggin' facade anger. We don't mess with you. Why not? I don't even know. We just don't.
Bringing it back to the comics, though, like when I do talk about the show, if I were to recommend to somebody who's never read the comic, it's still a good show. Like the scene where they get bombed, like they made that bombing scene look good, and it looked like a little sound stagey and smaller than it was a tight shot, but it added to the way they're like. I was like, yeah, fuck the show. But it actually, like when they show the aftermath after, it looks like the comic.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like, oh wow, like it shows you a wider shot, and it's like, okay, like when I saw that explosion, it looked good. It was a good moment, good filmmaking, cinema, if you want to call that.
Cinema.
But it's like it's a little tight, and I'm like, okay, that's how you don't have to do a whole aerial bombing scene like that, And they did show you some B-roll, the aerial stuff, but the way it got to that, it was the story flowed, and the way they showed it in the moment was really good. I really enjoyed that, and then showing the aftermath of it, they put the money more in the aftermath than the actual explosion. But the explosion, the moment was so tense, which I might say better than the comic. Like it had that scene had more tension than that equivalent scene, even though they changed the scene in the comic. And that character in the comic is a different character than this guy. Like this guy, this guy has altruism in it, and in the show, like they want you to like him. In the comic, they don't. They literally like need you to not like him. The way it all plays out, because it's part of the balance of the universe. You have all kinds of people, So he plays his part, but he plays his part for the greater good. The way he plays it, and but that's, I think, because of those changes in the show, like a lot of the message in the comic is in the end is probably going to be lost, like in adaptation, So
well, okay.
So that's where, like, I'm like, I just got the idea that maybe like that's what we should do our reviews: lost in adaptation, like comparing and contrasting these things, like the changes that they make. How do they change the source material's message? In comics, you could do it a certain way. 2014, you could do it a certain way. On Netflix, like maybe if this was an HBO show, or I mean, honestly, like if it ain't Netflix, I don't think it could be anywhere, because Netflix is where you can do just like the comic if you wanted to. Like, I mean, literally, like Sense8 had his mind hole, soul hole, a butthole, face hole, and the umbilical hole. Fuck,
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because what I can definitely say is that the comic and the show are doing two totally different things. But being like, I didn't realize how early I was in the comic, because I didn't realize it was like 8 issues. I thought it was like 4 or 6. But being as early as I am in the comic and being as early as I am in the show, I'm like, both of these mysteries are intriguing. But what I can say is they're intriguing in different ways. And, I mean, there is a part of me which I guess I'm living up to Derek H's stereotype in the sense that, from my perspective, I'm just like, I can totally see somebody reading this book and being inspired and being like, hey, we should make a TV show with like concepts like this. And if you want to write your own show about detectives that are investigating a similar body throughout time or whatever, like, like that can happen, and that's okay. Like, I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you don't license the rights or whatever, but maybe you're like license the rights, but you don't call it bodies because you're like, hey, we're taking your idea and your concept, but we're deviating so much that maybe we should call it something different, and it would still be great. Like, it's a great show.
And
But
go ahead.
I was gonna say that, but it's like they definitely are going in different directions.
What I was gonna say, Larry, is that I think maybe DC should have a little, or it might be one of those things where they just sold off. I think they should have a little creative control, but I just don't see. Yeah, I don't get. I don't see where there's more money to be made if like they license something out and then have some control of making it like how it is.
Yeah.
Like,
no. I mean, the way it's gone down
yeah,
is the way that it probably should go down. The only difference I would make is like no one knows what Bodies is.
yeah.
And Bodies is a cool name. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, if you're gonna deviate from the source material this much, there might be some merit to the idea of calling it something different than Bodies. And like I'm just thinking about, like, say for instance, what's the Tom Cruise movie where
Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah, right. See, and that's why I love you, Mo, because that's all I have to say. Like, there it is. Right. So, Live, Die, Repeat, right?
I don't think that's
the name of the joint they licensed. But when they made the movie, what did they call it?
They called it Die Another Day or something.
It's like something tomorrow.
Right. Day after. Is it? That's the day.
No, it's not day after tomorrow.
The day after yesterday.
No. But they call it something different.
Tomorrow?
No, it's right. I can't remember what it's called.
Tomorrow?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Right. Thank you, Mo. So they called it something different, and in my mind, it's like I haven't read the book, and I don't even know. Like, for all I know, Edge of Tomorrow might be much closer to Live, Die, Repeat than this is, like, than Bodies is to Body, like the Bodies comic is to the TV show. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, at the same time, it's like, yeah, you saw a concept, you're like, it was cool, and I'm sure from their perspective, they were like, oh, Live, Die, Repeat isn't a great name, even though Live, Die, Repeat actually isn't a bad name. Like, Edge of Tomorrow isn't any better, in my opinion, than Live, Die, Repeat.
Well, if they would have added rinse to it, Live, Die, Rinse, Repeat would work better.
Look, like both of them are fine names. They're not. Neither one of them are great.
I think.
And
the book is actually called "All You Need Is Kill."
Is that a joke?
No, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
It was like a Japanese book.
Yeah,
so that would be the translation.
Yeah.
Oh, what's Live, Die, Repeat then?
That was the tagline for the book, I think. Or
I remember hearing that as part of the tag to the movie.
Oh, that's the tagline from the poster in America.
Maybe. I don't know if it was involved with the book, but I was looking up the title and now I have like all the info for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Jay
all you
knew it,
need.
'cause I remember Jay explained it to us.
Okay, so if all you need is kill as the title, okay, like all you need is kill is definitely like that doesn't work in America.
That's even worse for what the movie is about.
Right. Yeah, no, that doesn't work as well in America, so you need a different title and
Well, that's how you
and
know they deviated from the book.
Edge of Tomorrow. But here's the thing. Like neither one of them are spectacular. Like I get it. Like you're making a like Edge of Tomorrow isn't spectacular. It's fine. It works better than All You Need Is Kill. You know, it's like that's like kind of like maybe that works better in Japanese. I don't know. But either way, what I'm saying is Bodies, like nobody knew what Bodies was really, generally speaking. So you can call it something different and it doesn't hurt you. And especially considering that you're using this concept, but you're changing it so much, it wouldn't have knocked like there's no knock, I guess, to calling it something different. Even though somebody's like, hey, they're like Bodies is a good name and we don't have anything better. So they just left it. But anyway, we should probably rate it. Look, we gotta give the comic a rating based on what we read, and we gotta give the show a rating based on what we saw.
Mhm.
So let's go with the comic first. Oz, why don't you give the comic first a rating for the Bodies comic?
The comic, I'm probably gonna go with 4 because every issue I had with it was because I watched the TV show first and just had that in my mind while I was reading the comic. But the things that go on in the comic, I think I would have really, really, it would have got my attention had I not watched the TV show a lot
Got
more
it.
than it did.
Got it. Okay. Moses Magnum, Bodies the comic. What would you rate it?
The comic would be another probably about 3, about 4. 4 is good.
Mhm.
The art, I love the art. I love the how different the art style is for the timelines, which the show didn't do, and that's like
Yeah.
it did it.
Well,
Again, they did it in style, like the way it looks, but it's not. It still looks, I don't know, like something like, let's say you did the modern time like normal. You did
yeah.
the 1800s in like sepia tone,
Right.
black and white, and then the
Yeah.
future in like, well, the
Yeah.
future is totally different in the show. Like,
Right.
the same, but like in the comics, that's how it is. Like, it's a distinct
Art style.
art style, and here it should have been a distinct. Like, if anything would have saved it, or for me, the show would be like a distinct cinema style.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even though it's silent, 1980, 1890.
No, that's a bad idea.
No,
but I feel you.
But it's not like they did what they did in the comic anyways.
No, I agree with you.
All the exposition that they gave you in the comic, there's none in the 1890s version in the TV show. So, but the series itself as a comic, it does lose. The overall message is a little preachy, and that's what I didn't like. But I like the execution. So yeah, 4 out of 5.
The overall message is preachy in the comic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's like
So 4 out of 5. Okay.
I don't want to. I mean, I'll spoil
Yeah,
it.
no, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
I'm gonna spoil it. Like, you demanded it.
I literally did the opposite of demanding.
You in the comments, you want me to spoil it for Larry? It's up to you.
No, don't listen to those fools. Look, I get it. It's preachy in the comic. Good, got it. 4 out of 5. You're right. Look, but I agree with your idea though, where it's like don't listen to Burr.
It's
Burr's
his
not
birthday.
reading
For
nothing.
his birthday, I have to spoil it.
Hey, no, it's not Burr's birthday anymore. Where does Burr live?
Florida, I think.
Right. It's not Burr's birthday. Florida? Mm-mm. They don't even celebrate birthdays in Florida. They're like Jehovah's Witness.
He said it's 11:39 where he's at.
Yeah, but they're like Jehovah's Witness. Florida's ultra orthodox. They're like birthdays for who?
Only Jesus.
Jesus only. Just Jesus.
Barely.
Look, so December 25th. his real birthday, not like the pagans say. No. But I feel where you're coming from though with the different like potentially you're right. Like I love the idea. Like if they had done all of the 1800 stuff in sepia and had done all of the 1940 stuff in black and white, like that would have been really cool. And don't get me wrong, it's like I understand why they didn't do that because it would have turned a lot of people off.
Yeah.
But
in comics, it works, and that's the beauty of comics. That's why
not only does it work in comics, but it would have been amazing, I think, visually in cinema. And I feel like for those of us that had read the comics, we would be like, oh, we get what they're trying to do here because they're like, from a visual perspective, you can't have different art styles. So you have to have like
even with
filters.
the changes they did with the future Oz, like if you've seen the future in the comics, and but if they did like a Blade Runner-y looking or a cyberpunk looking future, like would have been tight.
Or they could even done like the friggin' Star Trek lens flares. Like that would have been actually that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm still gonna watch the show because before I read the comic, I was enjoying the show. Like it was intriguing, so I'm gonna see that.
Is good.
Yeah, but
listen. Here's the thing. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I guess here's the thing. Foundation changed me. It's like the Apple TV Foundation has messed me up because I'm like, I like Foundation, but it's nothing like the book.
Well, you've heard me say fuck comics after I see a show that's better. Yeah. Or enjoy better. So it's like this ain't it.
That's fair. No, I agree with you on that. Like, and here's the thing, it's a very interesting thing, but again, this kind of goes back to the initial thing we were talking about, where it's like 2014 versus 2023. Where it's like we look at what they're doing now, reading it today, and be like, oh, like the wild part is in some ways it feels daring, but in 2014 it wasn't. It was just stories. You know what I mean? Where it's like I feel like there's a lot of the stuff that happens in this comic where if they had, like, let's say they had made a television adaptation in 2015 or 2016, it's like they probably wouldn't have changed most of it. But because it comes later, it's kind of like, yeah, man, like things change. And I'm not knocking it. Like I'm not saying like, oh, like, because like some people would be like, oh, anti-woke. I'm like, no, this is not anti-woke. I'm not saying things shouldn't have changed. I'm just recognizing the idea that they may have made this adaptation closer to the comic if it had come out closer to when the comic actually had come out, because sensibilities were different. And I think that's just the fact of the matter. So anyway, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 too. Like the comic, like the comic is good. I like it. I can't wait to finish it. So yeah, 4 out of 5. It's awesome. Oscorp, the Netflix show, Bodies. What would you rate it?
Same thing. 4. Like I really wanted to watch the rest of it. I just didn't have time.
Yeah. Right. Moses Magnum, how about you?
I would give it a 3 so far after 3 episodes. Okay. I felt like I think it's 8 episodes for the show, 8 issues for the comic. At 3 issues of the comic, they were further along, and you got a sense of what's going on better than the show does it. So it's like at the very least, if you can't do it like the comic, at least don't keep me in the dark for too long. Don't let's get to the point. Yeah. Don't bore us. Get to the chorus. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But the ending of episode 3 was really good. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I would give it a 4 for the show as well. It's definitely different. and noticeably so. And I feel like, to the point where in some ways I would tell people maybe think about watching the show first and then reading the comic after.
Or most
But
people are more advanced than we are and can do both and have a happy life. I'm not that.
no, I don't believe it. That's what they say, but it's not true. they're not advanced. They just pretend. So, but yeah, it's the show is good. It's just good in different ways than the comic is good. And that's okay. It's like they're different things. It's different mediums, it's different times. It's like, like don't get me wrong, I don't know if 10 years, like I feel like the 10 years that we're talking about between 2023 or the 9 years between 2023 and 2014 when this came out, like the shift in that time might be a little bit more significant than some shifts. Like I'm sure there's other periods. Like, I mean, obviously there's a big shift between, like, say for instance, like 1960 and 1970.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a time where when things were different are very different. But I feel like
our country it's like there's a shift from 2014 to 2016 December.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. No, and that's the thing, right? I think that there's a very, like, we're in a very tumultuous time in our country where, like, things are shifting at a rapid pace, where you're right, like 2019 is different from 2023. And so it's like, yeah. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But anyway, either way it goes, it's like they're both good. I would say try them both out. I would say my personal recommendation would be watch the show and then read the comic if you're a comic reader. If you're not a comic reader, then you're only going to watch the show anyway. So have fun. All right, it's time for us to get out of here.
Let me find that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hold on, let me make sure. And it's not loot, or it is loot.
No, you want it loot.
I know.
Because you know how long-winded Oz is. Ugh. Right, Oz?
Is this show still on?
Oz, give us a final thought.
I got a couple videos coming up soon, so like and subscribe, do all that nonsense.
Did you watch the Scary Movie?
I haven't seen the new one. Yeah, no, I haven't had a chance to see that one.
I dislike those videos.
You were in them.
Your
mom.
Hey, that guy's a hack. I hate him. I hate him. I was like, inauthentic. It was like lowbrow. Anyway.
Anti-woke.
Anti-woke. Right. Why does he hate black people? No. Mos Magnum, final thought.
Yeah, man. I've been reorganizing all my camera setups so I can streamline my production and workflow. It's a mess. Yeah. Oz, you need a ring light? You need a tripod? Well, I can't get it to you.
I already have too many.
Yeah, I know. I had to go to the Goodwill and drop shit off because, like, I'm not gonna use this. Like, I ended up having too much stuff that I was just playing with it and testing everything out more than I was actually producing videos. So I'm
It says, so over the course of October, me and some people in another community saw the first 3 House movies. Come on, Larry, let's see the first 3. Let's go.
Did you watch him watch the trailer? Did you watch him watch the trailer for 4?
Yeah, like since you love Hell House so much, Heck, you gotta click like on the Hell House trailer and get your other people from the community to do the same.
And you gotta comment to what you want Larry to watch next, because that's the only way I could get him to watch stuff. You know,
Don't
Cobweb
do it,
he
Heck.
did because they demanded it in the comments.
I'm not gonna do it, Heck. Don't demand nothing.
You're
Don't
gonna
demand
do
nothing,
it.
Heck. I ain't gonna do it.
You're gonna do it just like in Bodies issue 6, Larry. You're gonna do it.
No, listen, I don't know what that means, but I don't like it. I don't
Wait till you get
appreciate
to it.
doing it under duress, sons of bitches.
He's like, I didn't know he was coming down. I didn't pull it out. He pulled it out for me. But yeah, all that to say that, like, subscribe, hit the bell. We're gonna have more content for you, I promise. And yeah, and you know, maybe some monetizing opportunities that you could take part of instead of letting the algorithm do it. So yeah, but you gotta stay tuned. You're only gonna find out by hitting like, subscribe, and that fucking bell.
There it is. Hey, for all of you that's been hanging with us for all this time, thank you so much. We do appreciate you. You are the people that we do this for. Please let us know what it is you want to see more of, what you want us to do different, what it is that you like. You know, help us. Guide us in the right direction, because we appreciate your support.
In the
For the
comments,
entire
Larry
fantastic
wants
forum. For the entire fantastic forum. Thank you so much. We're the FF. Good night.